Well, what I think is happening here is a clash between two major imperialist powers. Russia, on the one hand, headed by horrific, brutal dictator, in effect, of Putin. But on the other side, the question of the US-led military alliance, which is NATO. And always in these situations where you're heading towards war, you get all sorts of hypocritical phrases used to excuse and to cover up the real motivations. Right? So if we were in Russia right now, what we'd be hearing about is the rights of the Russian-speaking people in the Donbass, the discrimination that they've suffered, which is real, and that's why we have to go and defend them. Of course, Putin doesn't care about the ordinary people in the Donbass or Crimea, and he's obviously picked up the language of peacekeepers from precisely US imperialism. He's used that language previously in the Middle East. But on the other side, what we're hearing is that this is a defense of a small nation, like the language that would have been used around Belgium in terms of mobilizing for war in World War I. What we don't hear that just as Putin is trying to expand westwards and reassert Russia's power on the world stage, is the fact that NATO has expanded 800 kilometers eastwards since the collapse of the Berlin Wall. We don't hear about the massive military exercises by NATO on a yearly basis on Russia's borders, 30,000 troops involved in so-called Defender Europe last year. You don't hear about the missile bases in Romania and Poland. You don't hear about the NATO battle groups in 4 different countries on Russia's borders. So NATO, US imperialism, also has an agenda here, which is about encircling Russia. And I think the attitude of ordinary people is not to have, we're not in favour of either of these camps, and instead we need to build an anti-war movement to say we have de-escalation and no to war, hands off Russia, troops out of the Ukraine, Russian troops out of the Ukraine, but also NATO troops out of Eastern Europe.